So, what is the biggest factor that determines the skill level of a professional tennis player? And I just recently did a video about what is the biggest factor in regards to a recreational tennis player, and go check that out. But I think the recreational player versus the professional player, there's a big difference, and there's a different factor in regards to the professional tennis player. So I read this book called The Power of Full Engagement by Jim Lehrer and Tony Schwartz. It's an older book, about 20 years old now, but they studied Pete Sampras and basically all the top 100 tennis players of that era, and they were trying to figure out what really separates them. Is it their forehands, their backhands, their serves? You would think Pete Sampras' serve is maybe the most determining factor, but it wasn't. It wasn't actually their shots. It wasn't how they hit the ball. It was their energy level, their physical energy level, and how they recovered in between points. So they noticed that someone in the top 10 recovered better and easier and quicker versus someone that was ranked 100 or so around that area. And they noticed their heart rate was better. They recovered better. They basically had more energy point by point, and the lower ranked players just didn't have that much energy, that physical energy to sustain it. And it makes sense, right? These championship tennis players like Pete Sampras, and today Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, they need a lot of energy to win the slams, right? The slams are 3 out of 5 sets, and they have to go through 7 matches, and that requires a lot of energy versus someone maybe ranked 100 or so. They maybe end up losing in the second or third round. Maybe because mostly they don't have that energy. They don't have that energy to sustain round by round by round, to get up to the finals, right? Because, everyone in the professional level, they could hit short balls, they could hit big time forehands. Everyone at that level has big serves and just awesome footwork. And so at that level, everyone's super good, and it comes down to the energy level. And that is the main difference. And that's what this book saw. And that's what professional tennis players now, that what they're doing is they're trying to find that little extra energy to boost themselves up and get better and win more tennis matches. It's just really about your fitness level. Speaking of fitness, let's talk about the most fit tennis player on the tour right now, and that is Novak Djokovic. And Novak Djokovic is basically using fitness as a weapon to win all these slams. And, I think he's the GOAT right now. He has 23 slams right now, and I think he'll have more. He'll have probably 5 more pretty much. But what is it about his fitness, right? How did he increase his fitness level and get all this energy now? All this energy, because he needs all this energy, not just to win 3 out of 5 sets in these slams, right? But his play style is really predicated on having a lot of energy. He doesn't have the best shot making skills, right? He doesn't have the biggest serve. Not like Roger Federer or Pete Sampras, where they could just ace people at will. Novak Djokovic, his play style is more defensive, so he really needs that fitness, that high energy level to get all these balls back in play, right? And so what is he doing with his fitness? Well, I think the first thing that he did back in 2005 was to get nasal surgery, just to increase his breathing capacity, right? Just to breathe better. He had issues with breathing, and I knew early on in his career he retired a lot, and he was having fitness issues back then. So that nasal surgery was probably the starting point right there. Today, I think he's doing what is called conscious breathing. I think it's basically meditation, where he's just more conscious of his breathing. He's practicing his breathing, and what he's doing is trying to breathe up his nose and through his mouth, and that's what you do to get a little bit more oxygen. And I know breathing seems like a very basic thing to do for any human being, but These athletes, they're practicing their breathing skills, and it's very important for tennis players to have that lung capacity. Also, and we know this, right, that Novak Djokovic is gluten free. So he reworked his diet so that he doesn't eat any gluten foods. Once he figured out he was allergic to these gluten foods, that's when his playing ability shot up 1,000%, right? He started winning all these slams. So diet is very important to the professional athlete. And at the highest levels, right, you really need to know what to eat and what not to eat. And if you haven't figured that out, it's just going to be tough to get that little extra energy level. Something can be bringing you down, right? And you don't even know it. So Novak Djokovic with his team, they figured it out. They figured out what to eat and what not to eat. Also, Novak Djokovic, I believe, is getting the right amount of sleep, maybe more than the average person. So I do know that Roger Federer, when he was on tour, he slept for at least 10 hours a day, and that seems like it's somewhat very high, right? Normal adults, we sleep, 7 hours? We'll be lucky to get 8 hours, right? So with these professional athletes, I believe they're sleeping a little bit longer than the average person. So it was recently reported that Novak Djokovic was getting his 8 to 9 hours of sleep. And I wouldn't be too surprised if he's getting 10 hours of sleep. So today, the professional athlete is using sleep pretty much almost like a performance enhancing drug. It's just the most natural way to recover your mind and recover your body. And so I'm pretty sure that Novak Djokovic is getting really good sleep right now. And so at the highest levels, the biggest factor is your ability to recover back and basically how much energy that you have. And it's almost funny to think that it's really the most basic components of human life that is really focused on in regards to these professional tennis players, right? Do you have enough sleep? Are you eating the right foods? Are you drinking the right liquids? Are you breathing well, basically? And that's what it comes down to. And I also read somewhere where Novak Djokovic purchased this almost like this alien pod, where I don't know if he gets more oxygen from it or whatever. But these high level tennis players, these high level athletes, are looking for ways to increase their energy level. And these basic things that we do in life: breathe, eat, drink, and sleep. For the professional tennis player, they cannot be compromised at all, or else they're just not going to win a tennis match, right? They're obviously not going to win a 3 out of 5 set tennis match on clay. You need that energy, and these legendary tennis players like Novak Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, they figured it out. They figured out, how to get all that energy within them. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.